Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Coach Jones Show. I'm Adam Bell, along with Sammy Hendricks and Indians football head coach, Coach Jones. Here's Sammy Hendricks with the call. Sammy?
All right, first of all, Coach, thank you for taking time out of a busy schedule right now to join us this evening.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to be back. I've missed the last 5 or 6 shows, and it's good to be back here with you.
Well, we've tried to do our best to, keep it going without you. Glad to have our kids on. I think we kind of enjoyed it. So we've asked about you every week and proud of you for all that you're doing. I know this is a new venture for you, but I hope it's going well.
It is. It is. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sammy's been playing hooky for about the last month.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sammy. Sorry about that.
All right, Coach, of course, this week is Brooks week. But before we dive into Brooks, let's go back and talk about the last 2 weeks. We'll go way back 2 weeks ago, Friday night with a big win over Irwin. Tell us a little bit about that ball game.
Well, I think, you look at parity over the region and who plays who and what the final scores are, and it really doesn't tell you anything. One of the things I've tried to get our kids to believe is you have to be at your best each and every night. So by no stretch of the imagination did we look at any of Irwin's previous scores and says, well, this is how this one ought to turn out. Clinch is, having, a whale of a year. And so I can't tell you the number of people going back 3 weeks ago that said, well, gosh, y'all played hard. I didn't, I didn't realize that, it was going to, be like that. And, for me, I want our kids to play hard, and I want us to learn. And we are in phases. Everybody remembers the glory years of Charlton County football. We're learning in phases to what it's like to battle the entire game, especially in a big game. And so, we had not beaten Irwin since 2012.
Right. And
so, if you're 1 point better or 40 points, that's, you could tell at the end of the game. I was able to watch, the CSN copy actually today to see how excited our kids were there at the end of the game. And it meant something to them, however we won the game in dramatic fashion, with a late touchdown and then a defensive stand there at the end. Our kids were definitely excited about. I'll tell you, coaching such an up and down roller coaster of emotions, just like being a player is that, sometimes you lose sight of at the end of the day, the objective is to win. And so we are extremely proud of, our young men for doing what they did last or 2 Fridays ago rather, and looking forward to trying to piecemeal a bunch more of them together.
Well, Coach, you go back looking at that game. Irwin came into the game with, I think, only 1 win on the season, but, man, they played like a playoff team. They came out and they scrapped. We wound up going up 12-7 and got a safety, made it 14-7. And after that, Irwin kind of settled in a little bit and started playing ball and wound up taking the lead. Looking at the ball game, 27-23 win for the Indians. But I look at, 17 of those points came off of either miscues or turnovers. So the defense done a really good job. I mean, you give, the pick six, they took that back for the touchdown. And then we had a snuff snap on the punt. And then we had a catch on the punt return team that we turned over to them, gave them field position in, our end of the field. And they, took opportunities on that, and they scored on all 3 of those possessions.
Yeah, I tell you, turnovers are just game changers, period. However you do them. Turnovers are about like sudden change, quick scores when you come back out and it's like, boom, 1 play touchdown scoring drives. Both of them drive me extremely crazy. But there again, when you go back and look at, or when I go back and look at, for me personally, I still remember everything about last season. And the difference in this year's team and last year's team is just this team gets punched, and we at least try to keep coming back and swinging, and those are such momentum shifters. We're up on Irwin, and then we muff the punt, and it's like, oh Lord, here it comes, and then we kind of go back and forth, and right about not halftime, but right about after half when we make another critical error, and then they get the ball and go in and score. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, oh, God, which way is this one getting ready to go? But I say that in hindsight, because on the sideline, we got to just get it together, and then we come out and I think we put the drive together, and Brandon makes that whale of a catch and runs it in, and then from there it's kind of back and forth, and I think later in games, what I don't want for our kids is part one is Sammy is learning to battle the entire game, right? And then part two is then late in the game, be the dude that wants it on your back. Like, coach, you put it on me. Like the offensive lineman where we've got a drive going, it's like, run the ball behind me, coach, we're going to put it in the end zone. Or the guy that's like, coach, if it's got to be thrown, I want it. That's the kind of stuff that I'm starting to see in these closer games where early in the year we were looking for somebody to kind of step up that's turned around. And I couldn't be any more proud of our kids, because I'm going to tell you, when you lose a game or a bunch of games, it's tough to kind of come back in the next week and center people's attention, because all they know is I lost the game, what do I do? Win, lose, or draw, you always go back to the drawing board and start working on the next one. So very, very proud of them of how they battled, especially with, like you said, the turnovers are always critical. But to continue to fight through them and literally claw and scratch until the end is I'm very proud of our kids.
So Irwin takes the lead 23-21, and we get the ball back with 4:43 left to go in the ball game. What is your mindset? Is your mindset this time? Of course, you want to get in the end zone, but is your mindset at this time in the game to get down close enough that if we have to kick a field goal, or is your mindset to get the ball in the end zone?
Yeah, Coach Johnson calls our offense, so I think my mindset is watching the clock as we're driving to see if this is getting ready to be an all or nothing situation, or do we need to try to hold back some timeouts in case we need to stop them again. And so, we kind of got down there, the same situation when we played clinch, where it kind of looked like we were 2 scores, and then we hit a big pass and score, and then now all the defense needs to do is just get a stop and get us the ball back again. And so that's kind of where my mindset is. Coach is calling the game how he sees it. If we're, if it's, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, and we're trying to go score, I don't know that we're so much in the hurry-up mode as in, okay, he gets tackled inbounds, it's 3rd down, I still got 3 timeouts. But if we need it on offense to make sure we get the right call and we get the right look and whatever we need, I'm burning that timeout, because what's more important? Having all 3 of them to try to stop, or maximizing your opportunity to score and go up and take a lead. So, that's kind of where I'm sitting. And coaches, they're doing their thing. Players are doing their thing. I'm kind of sitting there kind of watching to see, okay, now if we get down under a minute, obviously it's all or nothing. I got to burn the timeout, so the offense. But when we're kind of in that area, now, where it looks great for us is when we go punch it in and there's a minute and a half left, and we still got timeouts in case we need them. So,
well, I'll tell you what really impressed me on that last drive was, and you can go back and look at every game that we play so far this season. You can look at every offensive possession, but when we got that ball back, we was on, I think, our own 47-yard line. I think, with 4:43 left on the clock, the offense, poise-wise, looked the best in that one drive than they have. I think they have, even though we scored a bunch of points and had some long bomb passes and this, that, and the other, the offense looked very poised on that drive. I don't think they panicked at all. We got down one time. We had a 4th and 1. They wound up getting offsides on Irwin, which gave us a big first down. Then we came back and hit the pass play to Trevin. But the offense, man, they looked like they'd been out there playing 15 years together. I didn't see no panic. There wasn't no, get the play in from AJ and the offense. Offense did a great job using the home almost all that 4 minutes and 43 seconds to get into the end zone to score. And I thought that was really impressive by the offense on that drive.
Well, just in talking about that situation first, I got to give all the credit to the kids, because they've had to battle throughout the season for us to kind of find our identity and what we want to be. If they don't take enough criticism from themselves or, whomever, it's not so much as the constructive criticism part from us. It's we know that you all are better than what we're showing. and we want you to be better, and we're going to demand you be better, and we're going to hold you accountable when it's time to at practice. Like this thing about, you know, I don't go as hard as I need to in practice and kind of saving it for again. We don't do that around here. We need to see it a live game rep, and I'll tell you, I get a chance to watch kind of all of it at practice, so I see where Coach Johnson says on Monday and Tuesday, hey, AJ, good ball, hey, it needs to be here, or offensive lineman. I mean, down to the most minute detail, and so I see it day to day. And so when you see it come to life, I saw that poise kind of take form in practice weeks ago. It's just kind of just like that, that clay that's spinning around. It's kind of molding the shape. But all that credit goes to them because you can work on something and work on something. It's kind of like trick plays. And Irwin, as you probably saw, Irwin had some trick plays up their sleeve. Right. And we knew they would because they've shown some of them early on in the season. So we knew that they had some in their back pocket. And so, what do you do when you're, I think Coach Johnson might have been the one who pointed out, Irwin had the longest streak in the state of consecutive third-round appearances since like 2012. And so that's amazing in itself. So a program like that, albeit the record, did we know we were going to get their best shot? Absolutely. Right. Nothing about the way that they played, how hard they played, nothing about that shocked us. And so now it was on our kids to not just raise their level of play because the other team's going to play hard, but it's go out and do literally the best that you can do. And so I'm extremely proud, like you point out, of how our kids handled that situation. But was I shocked at them doing it? No, because we've been in situations this year that are probably frustrating to watch to say, well, gosh, just kind of keep it together. And I always go back to, early in the season, a particular game that, we all feel like we should have won, or maybe if you take us in that instance and if you can take that back weeks ago, maybe that game turns out different. I don't necessarily look at it that. I look at it as we're not that same team from 4 weeks ago in that aspect, in that regard. So
yeah. And, then turn around, we score, we take the lead. Irwin gets the ball back with, about 57 seconds remaining in the ball game. They still got 3 timeouts left. Man, the defense stepped up big time.
Yeah. A lot of that's momentum. Guys wanting to make a play, guys not wanting to let themselves and their teammates down. And so so I'm happy. They fed off for it to be a rainy night. I kind of look back because I heard just an influx of noise, so I didn't know if that was us shooting it in through the speakers or what, but folks were up and they were, shaking jugs. I could hear the Band of Pride. And
had the cowbells ringing.
Yeah,
yep.
The cheerleaders are going, so our kids fed off of that. I think the scariest thing for me was they just gotten the first down. The snap goes over the quarterback's head. He kind of downs it. They had just called their last timeout maybe a couple plays before, and we're celebrating that we've sacked the guy. And I'm looking at the clock, and it's ticking, but it's ticking slow in my time.
Yep.
And our kids are kind of celebrating. I knew they don't have a timeout, so now they're going to rush. But we got back. They tried to down the ball. Clock 0. The referee's in the game. So, it's what a way to end the game. But it really, really, really proud of, how we came and, at least finished that segment.
Well, Coach, with that win, the Indians go to 4-4 overall and 2-1 in the region. You guys had a bye week last week. Tell us about how the bye week went preparing for Brooks.
Yeah, so preparing for Brooks, also kind of taking a collective breath, obviously doing some self-scout to make sure that, we're putting our best foot forward for, what we've identified gives us the best opportunity to be successful. And so I think everybody at this level, having been at this level of football here in the state of Georgia for some time now, is kind of dealing, with the injury bug. You got guys sick, starting to cool off, and I tell you, we've had the worst luck, with strep throat this year. So last week was a week, to catch ourselves up as far as health. And, one of the things I wanted to announce, I know it's been out on Facebook, but our kids have done a phenomenal job in the classroom. So last week wasn't a typical week like I've had in years past at other places where you're going to get in the classroom and you're going to catch up. You know, we ended the semester with close to a 3.5 GPA. Like that
good.
is,
Yeah.
when you have the number of kids, and we've got 45 in our football program, you have that many kids, they're all accountable to each other. So last week wasn't a week where a bunch of guys, now that's not to say the new quarter started, that they don't have anything, but they took care of their business during the bulk of football season. So definitely proud of them for that. But you got to toe the line in single A football of how you handle an off week. I know of personally how some other teams in the region handled the week. I think we all kind of, to say that we all didn't meet up to say that, hey, we're all going to do this, ready, break, and then
Right,
go in your separate
right.
ways. I think everybody kind of handled it the same way. But everybody's dealing with sickness. Everybody's dealing with injury. Everybody's dealing with, all the stuff that you probably deal with, day in and day out. But we were open for business last week. I think we got some guys healed up as best as we could. And, yes, we're ready to play.
Well, that was my next question. We had a few nicks in the game Friday night. Amari got nicked up a little bit. He limped off, and there was a couple more players limped off. So health-wise, injury-wise, how are we going into the
Good as we can be.
Good as we can be.
Yeah.
All right.
Take a break?
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with the Coach Jones Show after this.
So, tell us, how long have you known?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Then why don't you explain this, Mark? Found this in your house.
You ignored it, didn't you? I thought I had more time.
Really, Mark? Does this look like you had more time? You know what you should have done, right?
I should have called True Force.
Well, now you can.
Ignoring the signs won't make the problem go away. Call True Force Roofing today.
In your time of need, give Rob Robertson a call at 912-496-7388. Shepherd Robertson Funeral Home says go Indians.
AGM Packaging Corporation is one of America's leading manufacturers of sustainably sourced and produced disposable paper products, including paper plates, cups, bowls, and bags. AGM is a family-owned business that was founded in 1957, and our family values are still present today across all locations. We are currently growing and have several career opportunities that offer competitive compensation, advancement opportunities, and employer-paid benefits. Please apply at agmpack.com/careers or come to our facility at 569 Bowery Lane in Folkestone to fill out an application today. We look forward to meeting and greeting you at our facility.
ESP Specialist of Fabrication is located.
All right, welcome back to the Field House and the Coach Jones Show. Here's Sammy and Coach.
All right, Coach. We talked a little bit about the last 2 weeks, the off week, and plus the Irwin game. This week, tomorrow night, as a matter of fact, Brooks County, we have to travel over there to play them, 2-1 in the region. Tell us a little bit, what do you expect to see out of Brooks?
Typical Brooks County team. Don't let their record fool you. They're ranked in the state for a reason. Extremely athletic. They fly around. I've coached against Brooks for a while. We were playing Brooks when I was at Valdosta, so a ton of respect for their program, that community. Got a ton of respect for Coach McFarther. I think, he's had a job that a lot of people wouldn't have wanted, which is, following behind, someone who's highly respected here in the state of Georgia, Coach Maurice Freeman. And then I've got some comment. Their principal, Dr. Chastain, was my first administrator at Valdosta. Their assistant principal was my last administrator when I was at Valdosta, right. Miss McTeer. I know the AD, Coach Grage, who, was at Thomasville, and Coach Lisa Vincent, Mr. Brian Law. The list goes on and on. So ton of respect for them. And then when you cut on the film, if you're just a fan and you're looking at records, you're like, oh, man. But, Brooks is, as everyone knows, is traditionally, for the area that they're in the state, can't get a bunch of teams at our level to play them. Because they've kind of bounced between being a AA school and a single A school. And so, the last region cycle, they were over in the region, I believe, with Fitzgerald and Thomasville, and then they bumped back down to the original, what we call Region of Doom with us and Irwin and everybody. So just a ton of respect. They played some quality competition during our last off week. Had an opportunity to go watch them live against Pierce, and so Yeah, I know full well what we are, getting ourselves into. It is a really good environment to play high school football. Their community really gets behind the football program. Obviously, they've had a ton of success for a long, long time. And so, the thing that I've preached to our guys is to just go and play, man. I'm not the guy that you're going to find that's going to give folks locker room or bulletin board material just because I was not that way as a player. And I just figure, you just assume to go out and go play the game and play as hard as you can play and live with the results. So it's, very businesslike for us and how we're going to travel tomorrow and then getting over there and getting set up. I know for instance, when you would play a Coach Freeman team, they try to intimidate you before the games and and Sammy, probably 95% of the time it worked. So just, again, a lot of respect for them. Their kids play really, really hard and, they will be, right up there in the playoffs. But I think, for us, it's probably been since Charlton last won the region. I'm trying to kind of think because obviously I was just leaving Turner and just becoming the head coach the last time. But this has been the last time I think we've been in position to, kind of be playing for something playoff seeding wise. So obviously we're both kind of playing for the 2 seed. Clinch has kind of got, we still got games to play, so I don't want to disrespect any program, but Clinch is kind of in the driver's seat to win the region. And so we're playing for a lot. We're both playing for a lot. We're playing for a home playoff game, something they are used to. And then at least in the last 10 years, something that we're trying to consistently get back to is hosting playoff games. So we've got a lot in front of us, and that's, really our sole focus. We can go play as hard as we can play and live with the result.
Well, that's something I was kind of leading up to. You can never go by records, especially in this region. It's kind of a similar situation 2 weeks ago when we played Irwin. They had a losing record coming in. But, like you say, they're going to come in, they're going to give you everything they got on the field. Brooks is definitely going to do the same thing. But how big a win would this be if we could travel to Brooks and get that number 2 seed or have a chance at that number 2 seed? What would that mean to you and the team?
For this team, where we are now, you couldn't measure it. I mean, you can't put a price tag on what that would mean. I think every program that is trying to work their way and grind and chisel away at getting back to prominence looks for a moment, and we've been right in there with them. I know for me as a competitor, it's never okay to lose, whether it's big or I lost right there at the end, but we gave it all we have. I'm proud of that. That gives you something to build on, but it still doesn't excuse the fact that you weren't successful there. And then in that, all of that stuff tells a story. But for us, being able to be in one of the big ones and win one of them is kind of how you kind of got to get things going. And, I don't even say when someone's due one. I mean, I don't think you're due anything. You play hard, and you play hard than the other team. You more times than not, you win the ball game. It's kind of like that misleading stat where you can see a team that there's been games. I know you all have been a part of a bunch of football games where the team that has had the most production has not always won.
Right.
You can have 600 yards of offense, and the other team has half of that, but you may have turned it over a bunch, and they may have capitalized just on shorter fields, and they beat you. So it's just how football, sports in general works. I mean, what I want us to do is limit the errors that we have and play as hard as we can play. That is all I'm asking. No one can be perfect. I mean, a lot of our stuff that we do in our program is life skill building and trying to lead kids to a better path. And so I'm never asking for them to be perfect, but I do want you to go play as hard as you can play and play like you got some sense about you.
Right. Coach, always a big question for the fans is that go fans only for tickets into Friday night, or can you buy tickets at the game over at Brooks County?
I believe it's all go fan. I will have I think there's a little graphic that they sent over, maybe to Coach Swing, and I think he shared it with me. I'll share it with y'all so that y'all can post it online. I do know tomorrow is their homecoming, so obviously the time that we usually get off the field is right around the time where we need to be off. So I'm not sure what that'll mean for the Band of Pride. I think they may have an alternate time that they have to play, maybe after the game. So, other than that, I would prepare to wear layers of clothing tomorrow because it seems like it's going to be really cold. But looking forward to the travel tomorrow with the kids. We'll get out of school, before the end of the school day, travel over, stop somewhere, and then kind of go over and get ready to play. These next couple of weeks for teams that are gearing up for the playoffs, no matter where your seating is, because I've been at this thing where you're at the highest, and then when you're all of it's the same in the fact that you play as hard as you can play to earn the right to play at least one more time.
Right.
And so I am hoping, Sammy, these last, at least through the region, what I thought would happen is kind of coming to fruition in that we're starting to play our best or the better part of the football that we can play. And you always want to be trying to trend upward or peak at the right time. So, testament to our kids and their hard work. But again, knowing what I know of Coach McFarland and the times that we've talked, with the kind of season that they've had and, Coach Glenn and all the guys on their staff that I know work tremendously hard with their kids, they're probably feeling the same way. So that's what makes our region so good. I would caution anyone around the state that probably feels like, you look at records and you got regions with a 8-0 team or 7-0 team, and then everyone else is kind of falling by the wayside. And then you got our region, who's traditionally been the better region in the classification, and everyone's like, there's still some of the best football in the state played right here in this region. So proud to be a part of that and proud to be, playing for so much on the line tomorrow.
Coach, you got anything else you want to tell the fans about?
Yeah, always. I really want to thank the fans that came out to the last ball game. I really felt like it made a difference for our kids and just their morale and their psyche, because there were at least 3 times during the game that I felt like I heard the fans, the noise, and our players fed off of it. And then I'm glad that you brought that moment up about how poised of a drive that was for all the kids and kind of their demeanor, because I did not notice that, again, until I watched the TV copy today. Rather, I mean, today when I had a free second, I was like, wow, that was amazing. And I joked with, Coach Wittenberg, who's our assistant principal now, I said, Coach, I got you on film, celebrating down there. He was like, yeah, man, I try to stay back from it because you get so close to it, you never lose that feeling. So just thankful for the fans, thankful for everything that you guys do. Super happy for you. I know Adam probably tell you every week. I always ask, "Hi, Sammy. Where's Sammy at?" And he'll say, Sammy's busy, and he's kind of keeping me updated about what's going on. But we had the kids kind of filling, and I tried to do my best. Not impersonation of you, but I try to do my best job. It's a lot going on when you got to ask questions and you got kids sitting here, and sometimes they don't know what to say and they get stuck live, and their families are probably watching. But I will say this for all the coaches. Last week I want to make sure that our coaches got to spend time with their family. I got to take my daughter to Peppa Pig Park and near Orlando, and what do you do? I mean, I can't put a price tag on what that moment was for me and my wife. My wife had several moments where my daughter was just thanking her for everything. I thank my wife, especially. I love my wife to death, but I thank my wife Terry so much, because the highlight of all that, Sammy, and I know you'll understand this, is at the end of the park, she is the one that took my daughter in the toy store and not me.
Right.
So she got to take that run in for us. So,
yep.
But I had a good time with family last week.
She probably enjoyed it.
She enjoyed it, and I enjoyed that she paid for it. I'm so happy about
But you enjoyed it then?
Oh, I did. I enjoyed it. When she came out bouncing around with that toy, and I was just so happy for her, but I was happy for myself too.
We're good.
But I got to spend that time with her and my daughter and my parents, who I always thank them, my brother and all my family and friends who are just so supportive. I've had so many friends come to games this year. And so just happy about that. So I'm glad about being in this position. Now you're going to, kind of have me get it these next couple of weeks, Sammy, because you've asked me about what a signature win would mean. I'm always like, what do we have to do at the beginning of the day to get to the end of the day, right? I don't ever look. I know Friday's coming, so I know today's Thursday.
Right.
And we've got things to take care of in the morning, all throughout the day. But I'm so proud of our kids. I'm proud of them for battling and hanging in, and all the families that are assembled. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you guys over there tomorrow.
All right, Coach. Again, we appreciate you joining us. Big game tomorrow night. Go get a win for us.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Going to break?
We're done.
Out? I don't want to get in a quick programming note unless you've already done it. Have you already covered our programming note for tomorrow? For tomorrow night, we're not going to be live.
No.
Okay, y'all have not?
No.
I want to stress to our fans that Brooks County has not blocked us. They said we could come. So I don't want anybody mad at Brooks County because they've said we could come. The internet over there is horrible. They emailed our athletic director, Jeff Schwing, to let us know there's no internet, no Wi-Fi inside the stadium. So, but they do have their NFHS hardwired to their school from the stadium. So the Brooks County folks over there, they will have the game tomorrow night live on their NFHS channel. So we'll share that link tomorrow evening for our fans that can't make the trip. But everybody else, if you want to make that trip over there to Quitman, kickoff at 7:30, right, Coach?
Yes, sir.
And it is their homecoming too, I believe, correct? So they'll be having homecoming ceremonies at halftime. But our Band of Pride, I'm sure, is making the trip. They'll just be in the bleachers.
Yeah, they're out there practicing now.
They're out there practicing right now.
Yeah.
So they work hard, don't they?
They do, extremely
Those
hard.
kids put in some work over there for
Yeah.
the Band of Pride.
Yep.
We need to have them in here one night.
God.
We need to get Dr. Harris in here one night.
Let me see what I can do to work on it.
All right, anything else, fellas?
Good.
All right, thank you, Coach. Thank you for meeting us on an early Thursday
No
afternoon.
problem.
We appreciate that.
No problem.
All right, y'all have a great night. And tomorrow night, kickoff at Brooks County, 7:30 over in Quitman. Allow for about 2.5 hour drive over there.
Yep.
All right. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for watching the Coach Jones Show.